So guys, on today's video, we're gonna continue from part 1.
What the riders are capable of. Gives you an idea of the speed this helicopter shot, doesn't it?
So part 1 was pretty easy. Now that you've got this key, you need to go in here.
Difficult course to
get this one.
For example, there you could bring flat out through that bend because it opens up immediately on the exit, but you really need to have done your homework to know that. It's not always possible to do it.
Just get this one and then go down here.
Anna Shackley.
And then go in here. The first one you are going to get is this one. Well, you're going to try and get it.
They're comfortable in that position. This is Alison Jackson of Canada. She has only got Grace Brown on the road behind her. Grace Brown starting from Australia, starting a minute after Alison. Nearly 11
now go in the first one. Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, I think it's running slightly slower, maybe 41s. You can see there as well that even when there aren't specific climbs on the route, there are steady, constant drags and undulations. Changes in direction. They're well sheltered from the wind, though. That's not going to be much of a part today, which will be important later for the men because they're going off in waves, of course. Here comes Lizzie Holden for the Isle of Man. And she too slower than Anna Henderson, who continues to lead the way at that point. It's the only checkpoint we've got.
Now that you have done that, guys, you need to go in this one.
Well clear of everybody else. Much further forward on the course, among the early starters, Becky Story from the Isle of Man is the best that we've seen so far. She's at 23.2 kilometres. She's nearly a minute 20 faster than Anna Orris of Wales. They're the quickest two.
I cannot come upstairs. And you have unlocked Georgie Pigwell.
It won't be too long.
Now what you need to do is go in this one, the last one, then this guy.
So the Australian just on the drag here, seeing the change of cadence and body style.
Teleport.
Steady progress. Leah Dixon for Wales, over half a minute down. 9 kilometres into the ride.
Now we are going to try and get Shrek. Not one.
So Becky Story, by the way, is much further into her ride. Still the third fastest at that first time check, just to give you some sort of indication as to how she's going.
Shrek is not always in the same one in each server. Shrek is in a different one.
Nice and steady. There's perceptibly difficult wearing undulations in the West Midlands.
You got it.
Here's Joss Loudon.
And you unlocked
That's an
that
interesting
one.
one as well. Jocelyn Loudon is the British national champion and over half.
We already unlocked Shrek. We need the normal Shrek. And we need SpongeBob. I know how to get them.
I don't think that's likely to be the case. So we shall see. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case for Alison Jackson either, does it? This opening time shot. She doesn't look like she's having a great time at the moment. No, looks somewhat laboured. And she's going to be considerably off the mark. Not far away from that time check now. A thicket of spectators in Sedgley.
Go this way. Press the button.
Looks like she is out of the running.
Do not touch these black figure
Grace Brown, the only
hands.
rider behind her on the road. It'll be interesting
Good
to
on
see her
you.
come up behind a ship,
Ow.
actually. I don't think she's that far behind Grace Brown. Judging by the size of the crowd at the side of the road, here she is.
Now
Grace
you
Brown,
have got the
last
normal
rider
shred.
on the road. And she's gone through that time check, but they haven't told us what the time was. But judging from the fact it was pretty soon after the other rider, yeah, she is the fastest, ahead of Anna Henderson.
Only just though.
Yeah.
So, as the cliche goes, all to play for.
Good ride.
Here's the guy that we need.
Start. Two of the riders from the Isle of Man there in the top six, Lizzie Holden and Rebecca Story. But Grace Brown of Australia leading the way. Anna Henderson of England. Georgia Williams from New Zealand on the
There's a
podium
key
at
in
this
here
point,
somewhere.
very early in the ride.
I'd say we've got about 7 riders there who are
There we
still
go,
just
guys.
about in
And we
contention
have
for
got it.
a gold medal.
We have almost got every
About,
one of
the
these.
top 4.
We are doing very good.
Stuck in the Isle of Man.
Ah.
Just off the podium, as it were, at the moment at the first check, but very much in touch.
Almost forgot about
Henderson.
this one.
Right, you can see she's really digging into this now, but she's over halfway through. She's metaphorically on the way back now.
She was very. We covered the Ride London Classic race.
La 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 la.
A little earlier in the summer. Anna Henderson was really prominent in that, attacking, getting in breakaways, and showing her face at the front of the race, animating the action. And here she is, flying through the streets of the West Midlands as this time trial takes place. Three districts in the Black Country.
Good.
Yeah, Henderson just finished or rather didn't finish the Tour de France film, just bailed on the last stage.
Right.
But that's great, solid work for something like this, few days off. Good course as well. Handy in a sprint too. But now challenge for a podium place in the gold.
So still effectively on the outward section of the race when they go from Sedgley down to Dudley through the town centre in Dudley and then back up via Sedgley and Goswell before making their way on the main road back into Hampton. And much of the closing stages, the closing few kilometres are actually on the same road that they came out of.
Yeah, just at that.
No, we have got that one, guys. We are so good at this game, aren't we?
Well-paced ride, especially when you start to labour. It's an indication of overcooking it.
How much do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Third of the way through this test now.
We have 16 left to get.
Alison Jackson in front of her.
Nice little bit of motivation to be able to see a rider, always good for the morale. 1 minute gaps as well, quite low, so possibility of catching is high even at the back end of the field where the favourites tend to reside. Jackson didn't look great from the word go.
Shouldn't be too long before we have. We're going to have the first one now, and crossing the line, Story from the Isle of Man. So, and her time, just to give it a little bit of context, or as much context as we can at this point, at that first time check where everyone's gone through, admittedly it was fairly early in the ride, she's still ranked 4th fastest, and she is the first rider to cross the finishing line. 41 minutes and 53 seconds, I think. Actually, several other riders have finished, but she is
15 to go.
For sure. Time there as well, 41.53.
Yeah, that's a very strong ride from her. It was the catch. Brown on Jackson. 2 of the bigger names in the field.
No, I don't think so.
Alison Jackson.
Yeah,
perhaps She may not be entirely surprised. There was always that possibility of ground swaying straight. As you say, Chris, only a minute between them, it's not a lot really.
No, just when it's flying past the Australian. Nice. Jackson just got their day.
What happens now? If you're somebody like
Now we have found Pepper.
psychologically,
No,
what do you do?
saying it was everything.
Just stay within your own little world and
Yeah.
in the manner that you feel.
Alright then, I'll
Would
see
you
you then.
sometimes try to hang on or keep that person within sight as long as possible? Obviously, you can't ride straight behind them and draft, but
You get caught in this early in the race. There's a big difference between your form at the time. So we're talking about 2 kilometres an hour there difference. So if you try to keep it, you're just going to do yourself a load of damage. So you just got to suck it up and do your own ride. And of course, you're not allowed to stay within the slipstream either. I don't think it'll be a problem for
I just
the
wonder
next few minutes. You won't be able to see it.
I just wonder to what extent sometimes it can sort of drag you on the road a little bit.
No, I think
Not
it's
so-
probably
just-
demoralising. There's no way around that.
So, with
13
this
more to go.
Henderson
What?
that we're looking at here, I think that's Boyar from Canada. That's what it
Yeah.
is. We've had a quick look. It's Brown. She's riding through Dublin.
A light territory.
And she's turned right,
What?
heading towards
A
Dublin
light
Town Hall.
territory, you know,
Taking
an
it steady
18,
on these
Oh, yeah.
corners.
How much?
250 on.
Taking too many, well, not taking any chances, actually.
Here's Tennille Campbell from Trinidad and
honestly,
Tobago.
yeah.
We haven't seen her since she
Yeah.
left the starters gate.
And then for your round, put your landing.
One of those who came through the UCI school in Aigle and has really gone on to make her mark as part of the Women's World Tour.
Rat.
Tennille Campbell, 14th fastest at the first time check. That's the only time check we've got on her so far. And Alison Jackson, as Chris was suggesting, not going terribly well. 15th quickest on that first time check. So, you know, the penultimate rider off, but she's not in the top placings or anywhere near it at this stage. This is Anna Henderson, I think, coming towards us now. Yes, this is Henderson. She's flying still.
Yeah, she's very much on top of it. Paced the ride well. She's flying the flag for England. Second of that first check. Just 4.5 seconds. Steps the mark at the 19k mark. And this is the important one. That 19k mark is you get a true reflection of what they can cope with for the full distance.
She's getting great support from the side of the road as well. Big crowds welcoming the riders here in the heart of the West Midlands, and she knows she's on a good one.
Yeah, pushing the corners, flowing through, shifting body weight straight back into position. You can see well on top of the gear as well. Upper body still nice and solid. All indicators of somebody on form. Speed changes here, absolutely huge. Most of these riders are using electronic gears so they can switch really quickly. Up and down the
That one
cassette.
is the same for all
Fastest on the road at
servers.
the
Now
second
it's
time
going
check
this
so
one.
far. No surprise there.
Wisely opting to go on the drop to give her security and the confidence to push on going into that corner. The motorbike up ahead just gives you an indicator of what's coming next. You see the brake lights and you know that even though you can't see around the corner, you know it's sharp, and vice versa. You see the brake light go off, gives you a hint that you might be able to just let it flow around. So
Nice fast flowing of the course. Welcome relief for the riders.
yeah, they're in something of a valley here, and of course now she's going to have to climb out the other side.
9 more to go, I think.
It's always that bit.
Always sensing the conditions as well. Get up against the hedges if you've got wind coming from the side. There's Brown.
Is Georgia Baker from Australia, and she is over 3/4 of a minute down on Anna Henderson. Georgia Baker, another one of the bigger, better known riders in this field. Those who follow women's cycling at world level will be very familiar with her.
Well, she was 7th
Alright, Miss Smell.
the first check, half a minute behind.
Guess who went wrong here this morning?
So certainly within a shout of the podium.
Georgia Williams here for New Zealand. Georgia Williams was, if my memory serves,
I'm
third,
not
yes.
doing
Is she maintaining that level of performance? We're about to find out. Georgia Williams, third at the first time check, heading for the second one.
So here's Brown eating up the road now, over half distance. Always a good mental marker that. You've got the majority of it behind you. Can't quite start going into the red yet though. That last 10 minutes is when you can start to just push on. The experience, just a sense how much they've got to give, and it's a constant calculation of distance to go, how hard they're trying, is it maintainable? All of those inner senses come into play.
With Anna Henderson racing on a
What's your
GT
tool
bike
sleeve?
there with the helmet as well.
Yeah,
Good
well
one,
done,
Prisma
Roland.
rider.
Yeah, got two on the floor now.
So Henderson just being picked by the Australian at the first check. A solid ride through the 19k mark.
Way faster than what we've seen so far. Reminder of the only checkpoint they've all gone through, Grace Brown of Australia, marginally quicker than Henderson, only by just under 5 seconds.
Yeah, she's heading towards that 23k mark. That's what the countdown you can see is all about there.
It's 28.8 kilometres in length in total. So she's heading for the closing stages.
Just looks nicely relaxed, doesn't she?
Taking these steady climbs and undulations very much in her stride.
Just ramping up now. Just gets onto the drops with a bit of extra purchase.
Heading into the outskirts of the city of Wolverhampton. Well, there's a welcoming sign. Not too sure that many of the cyclists will notice it as they head up the road, but they know that they are within range of the finish line, psychologically.
Quite a few of these little kits on the course. You just get an idea of the gradient there. Just got to be careful. Well, you can overextend actually. And, subtlety that you just go slightly into the red if you know that once you get over the top, there's a sufficient descent for me to be able to take a breather, get a micro rest, and put back the deficit.
Here's the situation of those who've gone through that time check. But I think the real challengers for Anna Henderson yet to do so.
Well, Henderson consolidating a podium position, 51 seconds. A story. I think it's unlikely, barring incident, that she'll lose that gap. Oh, that's grinding on now, isn't it? Brown not enjoying these undulations, tackling it in a very, very different way to Henderson. Powerful, but big gear over the top.
Lizzie Holden from the Isle of Man.
And Detroit, it is to Detroit again. Flicked high and into the top of the net, and they are delighted. What a drag flick. I don't think I've ever seen it where it's stopped like that and actually rolled in before then somebody flicks the ball at goal. And I really think it's actually put Roberts in goal at 6s and 7s, because we've seen Detroit score 5 where she slapped the ball off the top and taken it herself. The last one she flicked herself off the top, and this time it's rolled in with Johnson with the stop and the roll, and then Detroit just changes the stick position the way that it starts, and she's put that in the top corner. So difficult to do that. The degree of difficulty is so high. Strong wrists, hair, and look at the delight. Fabulous celebration.